Hey everybody, it's FemTrooper, and today we're going to be discussing Final Fantasy XV. It seemed like it was taking forever for this game to come out, and then when it came out, I was kind of left, like... Don't get me wrong, this game is a really good game and it has a lot going for it, and there's so many good things to talk about, especially the fact that maybe it brought in some people to the franchise who never ever would have played a Final Fantasy game ever before. But let's seriously talk about this game, because I have issues with it, and I will put a disclaimer here. I did like Final Fantasy XIII. I know that's like the most hated game ever, and I did like it. And I would say it was better than Final Fantasy XV. Oh no! Regardless, I've played a lot of Final Fantasies. I know the gist here. I'm a huge JRPG fan. So, let's just talk about this. Final Fantasy XV is a little bit different in the sense that your main party is known right from the beginning, and they're all dudes. That's totally fine. I have no issues with an all-male cast. The only thing that I thought was a little weak was... I kind of just like diversity in characters, and they can all be men, they can all be women, they can all be whatever. I just, like, it doesn't matter, different races, different genders, different planets, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. For me, it was more, they were all friends from the get-go. You didn't get to meet and go on this journey and meet other characters that joined your party who were completely different or wacky or whatever. It was kind of just, yep, 4 friends are going on a journey. 4 friends going on a journey is totally fine. In fact, that's what this game's going for. So the fact that that wasn't for me, I'm admitting that. That wasn't for me. I personally like the, one person in the party, and then you go a little bit further and you go to the next town and you meet another person, and then you go to the next town and you meet 2 other people, and now you've got now you've got your party of 4 or 5, or in other games there's 12 or whatever. So I just like that better. I like the whole adventure concept. So I can't slam the game for something that I just personally don't like, because that has nothing to do with it being a good game. That's just a personal taste thing. So besides the game being for friends, and you all know everybody from the very get-go, there's a few problems here. One, the fact that there's a movie companion to this is okay, but the fact that it makes the game more enjoyable, to me, is not okay. I still haven't watched it. I realize that if I do, I bet I would have liked this game a bit more. But because you have to watch a movie and then you play the game is stupid, that should have just been in the game. I don't like this bullshit. So that is dumb. A huge criticism I have of this game is the scenery, is the whole area of the game. It's really, really bleh. Gas stations are essentially towns. They replace that aspect, or you can get, stock, and you get new items and weapons and all that stuff. Heal up, whatever. But no real awesome, fun, crazy towns. Like, that's kind of annoying. And the fact that your hometown is this really cool place and you don't really go to it ever, really, except for the end, is kind of lame. And just the towns that you do go to, while beautiful and really cool, I still found a bit boring and bland, just because this game was trying to be like reality but fantasy. And that's really interesting to me, because I like that concept of taking real ideas, trying to make it look like the Midwest or whatever, and then adding crazy Final Fantasy elements to it, giant swords, magic, that kind of stuff. That's really cool, but I just found that riding a chocobo actual miles to get somewhere started to get boring, and I didn't really care for it. And I found that wandering around this sort of Midwest vibe, I live in the prairies. I don't want to play a game that makes me feel like I'm driving out of town. Like, I don't know. There were a lot of things about this game that kind of made me go, This game was a whole lot of that. My face was that all the time. Now, okay, let's talk about a positive here. The graphics are absolutely fantastic. This game is really, really beautiful. I just feel like it would have been more beautiful had the scenery been a bit more interesting to look at. There are parts where it's very fantasy-like, and there's things where you're like, that's totally not something that we would have on Earth. I get it. But it just was a little bland, just walking around. You know, I just felt like, I don't know, it was just really bland to me. It was just really bland. Character-wise, I did like the characters. I did like them, but I just feel like I would have liked them more had I watched that movie that went along with it. So that's kind of frustrating to me. I'm like, am I actually gonna watch it? I don't know. Maybe. Battle system time! Let's discuss the battle system, because a reason why I like Final Fantasy so much and why the series to me is always a standout is the fact that they change it up each game. So the danger with that is each game you're going to piss somebody off. Final Fantasy 13 pissed a ton of people off. I actually liked it. I'm sure there's people that didn't like, I remember in Final Fantasy 12, oh no, you can see the enemies now. And then that pissed a bunch of people off. So I feel like there's all sorts of things that are going to really, really, really make people happy. And then it's going to take another camp of people and it's going to really, really, really irk them and make them really upset. So for me, I don't like a lot of live action combat. So this game, just overall, it's not a game that's speaking to me as a Final Fantasy fan. I know a lot of people that love live action combat. Zelda, for instance, is a great example of live action combat done really well. And I'm just not as into that. I think Legend of Zelda's a wonderful series. I'm more of a turn-based person. So when you took the turn-based element out of it for me, you kind of just excluded me a teeny bit, and that's totally okay. That's what I want to make this really clear. Just because a battle system or characters or something aren't your cup of tea doesn't make it a bad game. I know I'm going to get comments saying, you didn't get it, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, that's fine, though. It's not my thing, and that's okay, because I know a lot of people who thought this game was fantastic, really liked it, and it spoke to them. In fact, I know a lot of people, I'm sure, probably were so hyped that it was live action combat because they were probably wanting that, maybe wanting to take a break from turn-based JRPGs because, it's the same shit we've seen for 30 years. I do think they also probably made it live action combat to get more people to play it. JRPGs are, as much as I want to say that's a massive genre, it's still niche. I mean, when you look at it's not a Grand Theft Auto, it's not a Call of Duty. Final Fantasy 15, though, is Final Fantasy. So it's one of the biggest, if not biggest, series of JRPGs ever. I would say it's the biggest. And by making it live action combat, you're going to invite people who normally wouldn't play a Final Fantasy game. I know if you talk to a lot of gamers who don't play RPGs and you say, hey, you should check this out, it's turn-based though, that's going to turn them off. So the fact that this wasn't turn-based, it probably made a lot of people want to play it. Having said that, I did think the battle system worked well. The only thing is, I did find myself button mashing a lot, and I have to say, the combat, when you're watching it, it kind of felt like the first Transformers movie, where at the final battle scene, you're like, what the hell is happening? What am I even looking at? It was just so like all over the place, which is actually a reason JRPGs turn off my boyfriend, because he finds that they all look like that. It's just not his thing. It's not his scene, and that's totally cool. And I know a lot of JRPGs do look like that. There's numbers flashing at you and colors and blah, it's all over the place. But this game, it just felt a bit like, and I just wasn't as into that. I will say that there is strategy to this battle system. Just because I suck at it does not mean that it's bad. I will admit that I sucked at this battle system. I sucked so much at it. The music in this game I did think was incredible. It's, really, really good. Yoko Shimomura is a really good composer. I didn't find, though, and this is one thing, again, and you've heard this a million times, it's like a FemTrooper must to mention how I don't like dark things. I don't like dark things, so a lot of it was really like operatic and really crazy. And although I love that, because like One Winged Angel and Liberi Fratelli are like my favorite Final Fantasy songs, I wanted a couple songs that were really hokey and silly. There's definitely a lot of that shit in Final Fantasy, like really goofy kind of themes. But because none of the characters were really goofy and silly, some you could maybe say that Prompto was, but honestly, It wasn't that kind of game. You didn't have a goofy character. There's no Vivi in this game. So these are just kind of some of my thoughts on the game. It's not a bad game, but it wasn't a game for me. And so that's why I like Final Fantasy, because every time they release a new one, I'm like, okay, is this one going to be like for me, or is this one not going to be for me? Because I know Final Fantasy 13 made so many people pissed off. There's no towns, it's so damn linear. And it's like, I love linear games so much. I don't like the open world, it freaks me out. I just don't like open world. I don't like sandbox games. And this game I found was open world to a point where it's like, I don't care, I don't want to go over there and explore. However, somebody else might have played it and thought, oh my god, I want to go over there, I want to spend hours. There are people who spend 100 hours on this game. It took me like 20 something. I just was done. I was mentally done. I will say though, the ending, the last sort of couple hours of the game, I really liked. I really enjoyed. I don't know why. Also, the final battle theme was really good. I really got to get that and look it up on YouTube or something, because I remember playing it and thinking, okay, this is awesome. So yeah, the score is really good. It's quite awesome. In fact, I just went to Final Fantasy Distant Worlds the other day, and they did play some Final Fantasy 15. Really epic stuff with choral stuff, and just really powerful, strong score. So I will say that. Overall, this is a really good game. It's great because Final Fantasies are always good. Just this one's not my favorite. I wouldn't be like, this is the best one. Like, I would never say that. I would never do that because it just didn't speak to me. If this is your favorite Final Fantasy, that's awesome. Every Final Fantasy is different. That's why I feel like if you like one over the other, you can't really say one's better or one's worse than the other, because they're actually pretty different. They're all very different games. I know that they're generally all turn-based, but I would like to see the next one be turn-based, please, Square Enix, because I just like that more. If they may continue this live-action thing, and that's cool, but again, the characters will be different, the world will be different, everything is different, and that's why this series is so awesome. Did you guys like Final Fantasy 15? Really curious. Did you suck like me at it, or were you like really getting into it and loving the battle system? Really want to know. Feel free to splurge all your thoughts, because I've said some interesting things this review. That's all for today. I will see you guys later.